Hello and welcome to my review of the Chaos Obliterators. Currently the only way to get these two models is to purchase the Shadowspear box set, which will set you back £105. Hopefully they will release these separately, maybe in a box set of 2 or even in a box set of 3. It seems like they work quite well as a 2 though. What we'll do is we'll have a look at the models and the details, then we'll do some size comparisons, and finally we'll go on to their rules, which are pretty good actually, although they're quite slow moving. So let's have a look at the Obliterator on the left. Now from face value you might think that they're armed with different weapons. They're not. Games Workshop have kind of got around this by calling them flesh metal guns and crushing fists. So even though they look different aesthetically, they're both the same sort of rules wise. So let's have a look at this guy with this awesome Gatling cannon weapon on his shoulder with a magazine on the other shoulder, this heavy flamer on his fist, and then just a fist with a couple of claws on there. You can see here he's got a fair bit of detail. He's got this demon face with this tongue. His feet, his toes have protruded out of this armor. He's got this awful looking spiteful helmeted face in there. Again, it gets even more grotesque on the back. He's got this flesh, this sinewy flesh material feeding from the guns, and this exposed spinal cord. And then for some reason he's got these piston type pieces helping him with his movement. They're probably the things that are slowing him down. I'd cut them off if I was him. Kind of looks like a Centurion. I want to say a Centurion that's been sort of mutated rather than a Terminator. Just because of these things, I think Centurions have those kind of piston things. But there you go, that's this Obliterator, and then this one looks really cool because he's firing this what looks like a storm bolter, but also he's got this big plasma cannon type weapon, and then a heavy bolter, and then a multi-melter as well. So all these like weapons and things equate to, you know, random dice rolls in the game. Instead of his feet bursting out of his armor, he's got a couple of claws there on the feet, and then he's got the pistons again, but the flesh will be there, and on this plasma cannon and on this heavy bolter, along with these sort of flesh tubing feeds. So similar sort of vein as the other one, but in a much more dynamic pose. I don't know how on earth I'm going to be able to paint in there now. I really messed it up. Please help me. So they're both the Obliterators. Really cool models. They're a bit smaller and dinkier than I thought they'd be. But anyway, let's just compare them to a Chaos Space Marine, which I have here. They're a fair bit bigger than a normal Chaos Space Marine. As you can see, the head is a little bit higher, and obviously they've got way more bulk and mass compared to a Chaos Space Marine. Compared to a Greater Possessed, not much in it, you know. Greater Possessed is a bit taller sort of head-wise, but of course there's more mass on there going on, and they're on that bigger base. So, and then compared to the Venom Crawler, which is the largest model in the kit, yeah, they look small compared to him. I wish these guys were a bit bigger, but you know, if they are Centurion sort of size, then it kind of makes sense. Anyway, that's a cool looking picture right there. So let's compare them to some standard models that you may recognise, such as a normal Space Marine, which is right here. Yeah, they do dwarf a normal Space Marine. Space Marine basically comes up to almost chin height there. And then an Intercessor, again, will be smaller. Only just though, head height, Intercessor's a little bit smidgen taller, very slight amount taller, but obviously the shoulders and the weapons on the top and the bulk just make them much more intimidating. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Chaos Obliterators. You'll find them in your brand new Demonkin mini codex that you'll get with Shadowspear. They're a heavy support choice, and they're a power points cost of a 6 and a points cost of 115 per model. It's interesting to note that it says Obliterators 1 to 3, so if they do release a separate set, I'm hoping that you get 3 in the set. So 115 points each. The flesh metal guns are 0, so you're looking at 230 points there for these 2 models. I think that's pretty expensive. I've read some comments and some forums, and yeah, they are expensive. They really are. Points cost, that's what I've read. So their stat line then, they're extremely slow. They shuffle about at a movement speed of 4 inches, making them the slowest unit in this box set. Your Chaos Space Marines will be moving 6 inches, your Venom Crawler will be scuttling forward at 10 inches, and even your Greater Possessed will be leaping at 7 inches. So the Obliterators, the rest of the stat line reads Weapon Skill 3+, Ballistic Skill 3+. I would have preferred it as 2+, but there we go. Strength is 5, Toughness 5, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, Leadership 8, and a save of 2+. This unit contains 1 Obliterator. It can include up to 2 additional Obliterators at a power rating of +6 per model. Each Obliterator is armed with flesh metal guns and crushing fists. So the flesh metal guns incorporate all of those ranged weaponry that you can see there. So the range is 24 inches, assault 6, so that's 12 shots in total for both of them. Strength now is a 6 base plus D3, so it can be up to strength 9. AP is minus D3, so again, you could roll a 5 or a 6 and get a -3. And then a damage D3, so you can get up to 3 damage. Abilities, we'll read their ability now. So flesh metal guns, when this unit is chosen to shoot in the shooting phase or fires Overwatch, roll 3d3, one after the other, to determine the characteristics of the unit's flesh metal guns for that shooting phase or Overwatch attack. That unit, so if you've got 2 in the unit, that'll be for the whole unit. Bear that in mind. It might be worth taking them as separate heavy support choices because of that. The first roll is added to 6 to determine the strength. The second roll is the AP, and the third roll is the damage. For example, if the rolls were a 1, followed by a 3, followed by a 2, then the weapon would have a strength 7, AP of -3, and a damage of 2. It's quite self-explanatory. Their other weapon then, their crushing fists. They are a melee weapon, strength +1, which is strength 6, AP -1, and a damage of D3. Nothing particularly special about them at all, except that they could possibly get damage D3. Abilities then, Death to the False Emperor, and Demonic. Obliterators have a 5+ invulnerable save. So 2+ normal, 5+ invulnerable, that's pretty horrific, especially with toughness 5 and 4 wounds. Their final ability is Teleport Strike. During deployment, you can set up this unit in a teleportarium chamber instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, the unit can use a Teleport Strike to arrive on the battlefield. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy models, so they can basically deep strike in that movement phase. The keywords: Chaos, Mark of Chaos, Heretic Astartes, Legion, Infantry, Demon, Cult of Destruction, and Obliterators. Now I want to compare them to Centurions. Now if you have 3 Obliterators, that would be 18 power points cost, but if you have 3 Centurions, that's 12. Compared to the Centurions, they have the same movement speed, same weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength and toughness, but the Obliterators have 1 more wound with a wound of 4, and they have 1 more attack with an attack of 3, and they have a better leadership, but they have the same save. And remember, they also have that invulnerable save. However, unlike the Obliterators, where the weapons are a maximum range of only 24 inches, so they've only got an effective range of 28 inches. So if you're against these guys, fire at them from a long range, or fire at them with vehicles that are in range, and then the next phase move them slightly out of range, and just keep doing that and whittling them away. That's the key to this. Because yes, they've got 2+ saves, but with weight of fire, you're eventually going to topple them. So the Centurion Devastator squad, which is what I'd like to compare them to, is a power rating of 19. So that is more than 3 Obliterators, which would set you back 18. Now remember, you can give them 2 las cannons, so you've got 6 las cannon shots at 48-inch range. That'd be actually quite an interesting little face-off. 3 las cannon equipped Centurions against 3 Obliterators. However, you must remember the Obliterators can teleport in. But anyway, that's the squad that I'd like to compare them to out of all of them. What do you guys think of the models? Did they meet your expectations? Are you ready for a separate kit that has 3 of them in? I think they are quite expensive, but when you compare them to, you know, models in similar armies such as the Centurions, then you can sort of see why. But yeah, compared to other units in your Space Marine, in your Chaos Space Marine Codex, there might be better options that bear you riper fruit, put it that way. Anyway, put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.